We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunyama Devah Bhadram Pashye Makshaviryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvakam Sastanovihi Vyashema Devahitam Vyadayuho Swasti na Indro Vriddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin this year's classes with Mundak Upanishad from Anubhuti Prakasha. I wish all of you a very happy and a healthy new year and hope we can continue our classes like last year. Our subject for Saturday classes will be Upanishads. We are finished Kaivalya Upanishad. We are in Mundak Upanishad. After this, I plan to take Keno Upanishad, a very beautiful Upanishad. We will take the summary of the Keno Upanishad first, and then we will go through the Anubhuti Prakasha, the detailed version of Keno Upanishad. I'm covering the Upanishads in a very detailed fashion so that during these sessions, you can understand the most intimate knowledge, the profound knowledge of the Upanishads. It may take time to finish all the Upanishads, but if this is the format we have selected, it will be a very intensive study so that you don't miss the nuances of the Upanishads, which describe the highest truth of the Vedas. We have taken Anubhuti Prakasha, is a text written by Swami Vidyaranya, and he has commented on the Upanishads. So we are seeing the commentary of Mundak Upanishad in about 100 verses. Swami Vidyaranya was a very profound teacher of Vedanta, and he followed the Shankaracharya's style of Advaita Vedanta, which, according to the scholars, is the main essence of the Upanishad. The study of Upanishad is done in 3 stages. First, we have to listen from Guru. Listen what the Guru says about the Upanishads. Then the second stage happens automatically. When your mind has listened optimally, the mind starts going into the meaning of those verses of the Upanishads by itself. That is called as Mananam. Listening to the Guru is the Shravanam part, which is the most intensive part of the 3 stages. Then the Mananam starts in your own mind. Is this the truth which about this Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara? This is what we learn. We want to know who am I. That is the starting point. But the Upanishad covers in trying to discover the essence of 3 aspects of the world. One is the Jiva, the second is the Jagat, and the third, the creator of this universe. This 3 together is called as the essence of spirituality in the Veda. Whoever wants to come to study the Veda has to understand these 3 aspects of this universe. Then the study is complete And the study consists of Shravanam, Mananam, and then the third stage is called as Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam is a sort of exercise in meditation, where you sit down deliberately and you negate all the wrong notions which you have had throughout your life. I was born is a notion in the mind. I will not be there after a few years is a notion in the mind. It is not the reality. The reality, according to Veda, is I am eternally there. There is no change in me at all. Like there is no change in me in the last few years of my life. It could be 40 years, it could be 30 years, it could be 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. There is something which is not changed in me. Not at all. It has not changed right from birth till date. And what is that? That is called as Atma. That is what is called as Chaitanya. That is what is being revealed to me by the Veda. So the third stage is Nididhyasanam, which is called as meditation. So this is the broad spiritual journey which we have to undertake throughout the study of Upanishads. We have finished 75 verses so far of the 100 verses. Before I begin, I want to give you a summary of what we have studied so far so that you can connect what we are going to study in the next 26 verses. This 100 verses are divided into three portions. The first portion is the 50 verses belonging to chapter 1 of the Mundaka Upanishad. This second portion deals with 24 verses and it is describing the second chapter of Mundaka Upanishad. The last 26 verses is what we are doing now. We started with the 75th verse last session, and we are going to finish this last third section consisting of 26 verses. In each of these chapters, there are two sections. Section 1, section 2. So totally Mundaka Upanishad consists of how many sections? 6 sections. Each chapter, 2 sections, and totally 6 sections. This is how Vidyaranya has put and described the 100 verses. What are these topics in these 100 verses? This is given here. So whenever you want to study, you should remember these are the topics, these are the sections, these are the chapters in any Upanishad. So that at any time you want to know where am I today, you should go back to these two charts. These two charts are given in the notes which has been circulated to you. There are 3 volumes of notes, and the notes which have been given to you of Anubhuti Prakasha consist of 568 pages. So at any time you want to revise Mundaka Upanishad, you have these 568 pages. It is a thorough study of Upanishads, very thorough, as detailed as possible. It consists of these 10 topics, and these 10 topics are: number 1, the student goes to the guru and asks him a question. A very profound question in the Upanishads. Very well-known question. Shankaracharya quotes this question many times in his Bhashya. What is the question? The question is, Is there something by knowing which I will be able to know everything in the universe? That is the question of the student, Shaunaka. And the guru is Angiras. And what does he say? Yes, there is something. If you know that, you know the whole universe. This is the question, this is the answer. But what is this answer? He divides into two parts. He says, it is, if you want to know what it is, you should know the cause of the universe. If you know the cause, you will know the effect. If you know who the father is or who the mother is, you will know the child, the entire background of the child. So the cause, Karanam, in Sanskrit, it's called as Karanam. If you know the cause of the universe, then you will know the entire gamut of the universe. And what is the cause described in the Mundaka Upanishad? It is called as Paravidya and Aparavidya. Paravidya is the higher knowledge. Aparavidya is the lower knowledge. Lower knowledge is, it is the objective science. The knowledge of what we experience in the world. That is the first topic from verse 1 to 8. The second topic is Paravidya. What is Paravidya? Paravidya is the essence of the entire universe. We divide the universe into three parts, but the Upanishad says there are no three parts in the universe. The Adhishthanam, the substratum for the universe is only one, and that is called as Brahman. Brahman is a technical word in the Upanishads. That is how the Upanishad describes the essence of the whole creation. So in one word, what is Brahman? Brahman is the cause of the universe. That is topic number 2, from verses 9 to 18. So we have done 18 verses of the first chapter of the 100 verses. Now I'm not referring to the chapters anymore. I'm referring to the Anubhuti Prakasha text. The third topic. After having said this is Paravidya and Aparavidya, the student becomes very curious. He wants to know more about this Paravidya. He says, oh, is this the cause of the universe? What is this cause? Then the teacher describes the whole cause, verses 19 to 30. And the one thing you should remember is this cause is immutable. It is. It never, indestructible means what? It was always there. It is already there. It will always be there. Okay. So this is the way Aksharam Brahma. This is the definition of Brahman in Mundaka Upanishad. There are different definitions of Brahman in different Upanishads. Mandukya Upanishad, the same Brahman is called as Turiyam. In different Upanishads, you will find different technical names given to the same reality. Aksharam Brahma is described from verses 19 to 30. At the end of the notes of this 586 pages, this 568 pages, I have given a summary of each of these verses of the Upanishad. If you want to have a quick glance, you can go through that section of the notes. At any time you want to have a quick reference of what each of these verses, what does it contain, you will find the details in the end of the notes. The description of what this Brahman is described from verse number 7 onwards, from 8 onwards. In the actual Upanishad, it is the 11th mantra, the most important mantra, chapter 1, 11th mantra describes what this Brahman is. Just to revise, Brahman is described as Adreshyam. Adreshyam means I cannot comprehend Brahman with my sense organs. Then the next description is Agrahyam. I cannot grasp it with the organs of action. Then Agotram. Agotram means it doesn't have any lineage because it is always there. It is beyond time. Anything in time will have lineage. Grandfather, father, son. But with Brahman, it is Brahman and Brahman and Brahman. It will always be Brahman. Avarnam. These are the details of the imperishable Aksharam Brahma. Avarnam means it has no color. Achakshushodram. It has no eyes. It has no body. When we say it has no eyes, it means that it has no body. And Apanipadam. Apanipadam means if it has no body, it has no legs, it has no hands, it has no other organs of action. What else I need to know about Brahman? It is Nityam. Nityam means it is eternally there, always there. Is it there now? Yes. How do I know it is there? Because I am there. Can anybody say I am not there right now? No, because that I is that Brahman. It is Nityam, always there. But when the body is gone, I am still there or not? Yes, the Upanishad says you are still there, but not in this form. Not in the form of a body or not in the form of a mind, but in the form of consciousness, awareness. Vibhum. Vibhum means it is there, all pervading. It is there. It is there in all the objects. As what? As the existence principle. In any object, there are two things which you should remember. One is you will say that the object is. The man is. Rama is. Krishna is. My wife is. My husband is. My children are. That isness in each one of them is Brahman. Then what is the next description of Brahman? Sarvagataha. Sarvagataha means what? It is all pervading. It is not finite object. It is a limitless entity. It is not conditioned by time, space, or objects. That is the definition of Sarvagataha. Then the Upanishad says it is not easily comprehensible by the mind. But the mind which is assisted by the Veda can know this Brahman. So, can we know Brahman? Yes, but not with our normal mind. When you apply the knowledge in your own mind, you will be able to realize this Brahman as your pure entity. I, without the body, mind, is that Brahman. But it cannot be seen by the eyes because eyes are dependent on that Brahman for existence. So this is how the Upanishad describes the reality, which is called as Brahman. The next topic is the fourth topic from 31 to 46. A student might wonder, what is the benefit of this knowledge? Is there a benefit for the higher knowledge? Is there a benefit for the lower knowledge? The benefit of the higher knowledge is given later. The benefit of the lower knowledge is given in 31 to 46. Then, in the fifth topic, the Upanishad discusses, is there a requirement of a guru to know this Brahman? The importance, the significance of a guru is described in the fifth topic. The sixth topic is the creation. The Upanishad has a style of describing how this whole world has come about. In the second chapter, it is described of the Upanishad. So this is described in the 51 to 57 verses. After having known that this is the description of Brahman, I may still not be able to realize it in my own self. Then the Upanishad gives you an exercise. And that exercise is called as Pranava Upasana. Meditation on the word Om. How do I meditate on Om? That is described in 58 to 63 of the Anubhuti Prakasha. After doing this meditation, what is the benefit of that? The fruit of meditation is the eighth topic. After getting to know all this, you may still wonder and you may still have doubts about the means of getting this knowledge. That is what we are going to study from 79 to 89. And the last topic is the benefit of Brahma Vidya, which is the benefit of Paravidya. Earlier, the fruit of lower knowledge was given in topic 4. In topic number 10, at the end of the Mundaka Upanishad, it says the biggest benefit for a human being is he never takes up a body again. That is called as Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means I will still exist in the world, in the universe, but as a pure spirit, as a pure Brahman. Always you are eternal. That is what we are actually searching throughout our life. The purpose of life, according to the Veda, is not to earn money, not to have the three Purusharthas which we normally go for. Dharma, Artha, Kama. Living a righteous life. Artha means earning wealth. Kama means enjoying the world of objects. These are the three goals which are there for all of us. And most of us, we stop with these three goals. A very small percentage of people like you or me will ask this question, is there something else in this world? For those people, the Upanishad starts the spiritual study. That is called as Moksha Purushartha. What is the meaning of Moksha Purushartha? Moksha Purushartha means while living itself, you will be able to experience total freedom and total fulfillment in life. Is there something like this? The Upanishad says, yes, 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 it is there. Come, I will teach you. That is what is called as Brahma Vidya or Paravidya in Mundaka. At the end of this learning, what will I get? The Upanishad says, Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. We'll study that at the end from verses 90 to 100. So, Now you have got a complete summary of where or what all we have studied. With this, I will go to the 76th verse, which is where we are going to begin today. From 76 onwards, these verses are by and large till the end of the Upanishad. Slowly, the Upanishad is winding down and telling us what are the errors which we make in our normal knowledge of the world, and how I can correct and how I can receive this benefit. Bhogaha avantara bhedau hi bhranti tat badakau ubhau. This verse tells us that there is an error in our cognition, in our experiences. We don't have the knowledge of what is the adhishkanam, the substratum, and what is the superimposition. Superimposition means what? It is taking something else for something else. Adhyasa. Now, what is the world? According to the Upanishad, the world which we experience, the experienced Jagat, is always fleeting, which is our experience, isn't it? Yesterday is not there today, today is not there tomorrow. It's already going fast. That is the nature of the world. Whatever is fleeting, in the language of the Upanishad, it is called as mithya. Mithya means what? I can experience it, but it is not permanent. Experienced but not permanent is given a term. It is not there in the English language. It is there only in the Upanishad, because the Upanishad wants to reveal to us Brahman. To reveal Brahman, it uses the term Satyam and Mithya. What is Satyam? Satyam is awareness, consciousness, imperishable reality. Aksharam Brahma, that is Satyam. What is superimposed? Superimposed is the world. What do I mean by the world? It includes my body, my mind, and the entire field of objects called as Kshetram in Bhagavad Gita chapter 30. Okay? See how deep the Upanishad goes. All whatever we experience, we have to negate. That is what the negation process is, the process of discrimination. Viveka Shakti. When I learn the Upanishad, learn these mantras, my mind slowly will understand the nature of the word. It is not automatically one day you will learn these verses, immediately next day it will happen. No. It is a slow, gradual process. So the entire world is Bhranti. Bhranti means what? It is a delusion. It is a delusion because it is a superimposition. Like what? On the rope, I superimpose snake. It is an error. So similarly, on the consciousness, on the pure awareness, which is my real nature, which is what I am in my sleep state. In the sleep state, what are you? Are you the body? No, I don't experience the body. Are you the mind? No, the mind is not there. It is there, but I don't know where it is. Where are the sense organs? Are they perceiving the world of objects? No, they are also gone to sleep. But are you there or not? That is the essence of awareness. Awareness means it is always there. In sleep state, it is there. In waking state, it is there. In it, dream state, it is there. It is untouched by anything in the three states. That is what you should understand as your real nature. My real nature is I am the pure consciousness principle, imperishable Brahman. Let's call it. Let us use the word described given by the Upanishad itself. Aksharam Brahman. Let me repeat as many times as possible. Who am I? I am the awareness principle, Sakshi principle, witness principle. Why do I call it witness? Because it doesn't get affected by anything in creation. Nothing happens to it. So this is how the Upanishad is trying to teach me who am I. Ignorant person who doesn't have this knowledge, like a normal human being who doesn't know the Veda, what will he do? He will take the ahamkara to be the self. What do you mean by ahamkara? Ahamkara is the doer and enjoyer of the word. In this body, I have a mind. Whenever the mind is awake, it becomes a karta and a bhokta, a doer of action and an enjoyer of action. See, the Upanishads, they have a very beautiful style of revealing the awareness principle. You should follow the logic of the Upanishads. Then you can get the essence. So a normal person thinks that this doer of action is me. But the Upanishad says, try to discriminate between awareness principle and the mind. This is what each one of us has to do. Can I do it? Yes. How is it possible? You tell yourself again and again, I am of the nature of pure consciousness, pure awareness. When you learn to say this 10 times, what will happen? Your mind will start telling itself that it is pure awareness. It is not the doer of actions. Actions will still go on. According to the Bhagavad Gita, nobody can stop actions. All of you know, you have studied Bhagavad Gita. Even if you have not studied, the law of this universe is nobody can stop actions. The body will be forced to act according to prarabdha karma. So, anybody who has not studied the Upanishad will take the ahamkara, the ego, as the self. Okay? But if he takes this as the ego as a self, he is an ignorant ajnani. And what will he say? I'm suffering. I'm suffering physical pain. I'm suffering emotional pain. I'm suffering intellectual pain. I don't know so many things in the world. It's an intellectual pain. Emotional pain. My son didn't call me yesterday. He's abroad. He's in USA, but he didn't even wish me for my birthday. That is emotional pain. Physically, I'm suffering. That is bodily pain. So you should discriminate the three pains. When you do this, what happens? You become aware that you are the awareness principle in which, because I am of the nature of awareness, I can discriminate these three pains from myself. Suppose you were not awareness, you were the body or mind. you will not be able to say, I am of the nature of consciousness. This is how Upanishad wants you to think about who you are. It is giving the other side of the story. A man who has learned the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Paravidya, he knows that he is pure consciousness awareness. A man who has not learned the Mundaka Upanishad, who has not learned the Bhagavad Gita, an ordinary human being without any exposure to the Veda, you will find plenty of people, 99.9% of the people are like that only. And how does the Upanishad describe those persons? It says they are ajnanis. They are superimposing their body and mind on the consciousness. It is an error, and they continue to live like that during this birth. After this birth, the mind will take another body. Again, they will go through the same way. Mind continues, birth after birth. It is not the end. The end of this body is not the end of me. That is what the Upanishad wants us to describe. What are the other examples of superimposition? I am a father, I am a mother, I'm a son, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, I'm a human being, I am a mumukshu, I want to get moksha, sadhakaha. These are all what the Upanishad says. These are all the attributes of the I, which is the ahamkar. In this mind, we have to understand there are two aspects. One is called as ahamkara, which is all this role play. All this sister, brother, mother, father, all this is what? It's role play. Each one of us have to play the role as per the prarabdha karma, the law of action and reaction. That is the law of nature. But in the same mind, there is a sakshi, which is not at all changing. So if I learn to discriminate, I am the sakshi or the witness or the consciousness or awareness principle, I will be able to be free. That is what is called moksha. I am free, not after death or something. I don't have to go to heaven to become free. I am free here and now. Mundaka Upanishad says, discriminate. Have viveka buddhi. In vyavaharika, in the transactional field, have discrimination called as viveka. Don't be deluded, which is called as bhranti. If you're deluded, you will be ajnani. If you have viveka, if you have discrimination in your mind, you will be free. So, body, mind, world, that is vyavaharika satyam. It is a transactional reality. What is the paramarthika satyam, the absolute reality? Paramarthika means it never changes. Vivarta karanam, which just remember this, and it's a technical word. You will learn more about this. It's a very important word in the Upanishad. Changeless cause. In this world, there are two types of causes. One is a changing cause, and the second is changeless cause. The changeless cause is sakshi, is consciousness. What is the changing cause? Changing cause is called as parinami. Again, a technical word. Parinami means what? Changing cause. Body, it gives rise to another body. You have children. So the body is changing. It is a changing. It is the cause of the birth of your child. It's a changing cause. But what is the changeless cause? Consciousness. You have consciousness. Your child has consciousness. Consciousness has not changed, but the body has changed. Mind has changed because the mind enters a new body. Consciousness does not enter. It is always there. In consciousness, all the bodies are coming and going. I'm trying to explain to you the highest knowledge of the Upanishads. In these verses, I'm trying to give you, reveal that awareness principle. If you follow the logic, the reasoning, if you go through these talks, you'll automatically realize I am that awareness principle. Because every verse is talking about this. We have seen in the Mundaka Upanishad, in the 3rd chapter, 1st section, 3 verses are given. 1, 2, and 3. And what are those 3 verses mentioned below? And what does this tell us? That in this body, which I just explained to you, there are 2 birds. In a tree, you have 2 birds sitting. This is a very, very famous example of Mundaka Upanishad. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parisheswajate. In one tree itself, there are 2 birds. One sitting in the higher branch, one sitting in the lower branch. The higher branch bird is looking down on the lower branch bird. The lower branch bird is eating the fruits, constantly eating the fruits. And the higher branch is only witnessing. The same thing is happening in our body mind complex. In this, each one of us, there is a mind in the body. What is the mind doing? It is going around in the world. Every minute of your waking state, the mind is going out through the sense organs. What is it trying to do? Going and taking all the fruits. It wants to enjoy. Every time your mind is awake, it wants to enjoy something. Either it wants to enjoy some new ideas, therefore you start studying something. It wants to enjoy the company of somebody, so you go and meet somebody. You want to enjoy a TV show, watch the TV. Every time the sense organs are created like that. So, the ego is one bird. What is the second bird? The Sakshi, the witness. When that ego bird in the body realizes the awareness principle, it becomes free. All the merits and demerits of the past few births, so many births the jiva has had, all that are completely extinguished, exhausted, like a roasted seed. Everything is burnt. And then the jiva becomes free. This is how Mundaka Upanishad describes the entire spiritual journey. Next verse. When that jiva sees or discriminates, discerns the distinction between the self, which is the awareness, and the mind, then he is not associated with the punyam and papa. This is what the Mundaka Upanishad is telling us. On these matters, there is no other sources of knowledge. We have to depend on the Upanishadic study. Why my mind is thinking like this, why my mind is going out into the world, all that is, for that source of knowledge is the Upanishad. The Upanishad tells me that there are certain merits and demerits, which is the Karana Shariram in this body. We all have got three bodies: gross body, subtle body, causal body. What is the causal body? Causal body is where all the impressions, tendencies of the previous births are all lying in a potential form, in a sukshma form, in an embedded form, like you have in the iCloud, all the photographs. Similarly, there is an iCloud for each one of us with all the impressions of all our lives. iCloud is only for this birth, but there is a iCloud which is bigger iCloud for each one of us, created by God and given to each one of us. And as per that storage of punyam and papam, impressions, in that our mind takes birth after birth, and then it keeps on exhausting those impressions. Tomorrow, what will I be thinking? Next week, what I will be thinking, nobody can say, because it depends on this Karana Sharira. So, by intense meditation, when a jiva tries to discriminate that self which is pure awareness and discriminates this activity of the world which keeps on going, which is called as the lower Vyavaharika Satya. He is not at all connected with this Vyavaharika Satyam. That Sakshi, that awareness principle, is his real self. Once he realizes this, he has the same delight, the enjoyment. And the Upanishad compares this enjoyment of a jnani with a person who is gambling. You know how much a gambler will put money and says, okay, I want to earn more money, more money, more money. He's enjoying that. So similarly, what that enjoyment is, the Upanishad says, is very similar. It's after having realized I am that pure self, yada pashyate rukma varnam, when that self-effulgent supreme being, that Sakshi, is realized by a jiva, then he shakes off all the punyam and papam, and then he becomes stainless and attains a supreme state of equipoise. This is the actual mantra in the Upanishad. Vidyaranya in the 77th verse is commenting on this verse. The Upanishad tells us the benefit of studying Upanishads. You may not realize why you are studying Upanishads, but through the study of these, you realize there are so many things which I didn't know, but now the Upanishad is filling up the gaps of knowledge for me. And then, when that freedom comes in my own buddhi, I will become aware of that freedom. Yada vibhinakti, when the student goes through the karma yoga for purity of mind, chitta shuddhi, through the upasana. What does upasana? Upasana means what? Meditation. Through meditation, what do I get? Chitta ekagrata. Sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Chitta Ekakarta means one-pointed nature of the mind. Our normal buddhi is what? My buddhi, my intellect will think about one thing for a fleeting 5 seconds. Immediately it will run into something else. It will think of the child, it will think of the son, suddenly it will think of what should I do today evening, what should I eat. Again, after the next minute, it will start thinking, oh no, I have to go out. So this is what is called as the fleeting nature. Chanchalam manaha. Krishna calls it in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But how to make that one-pointed? How to make it narrow? How to make it make the mind sharp? It's through upasana. By the study of the scriptures. When I dwell on the scriptures, I will get this sukshma buddhi. And the sukshma buddhi is a part of sadhana chatushtaya. Sadhana chatushtaya, all of you have done the tattvabodha. In tattvabodha, we have viveka, vairagya, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. These are all the qualifications. And mumukshutva. The 4 Ds. In my original tattvabodha talks, you will find that in details. So the student, Upanishad student, has to sort out the mixture of this aham. Aham, which is anatma, aham, which is ahamkara, which is the doer and enjoyer, which is the gross body, subtle body, causal body. Everything which you study, all that is anatma, which we have studied in Vivek Chodamani, we have studied this in Tattvabodha. What is the other aham, the I? Krishna in the 10th chapter, he says this is the first vibhuti. In the whole creation, the first glory of the Lord is aham. This aham which is there in each one of us, I. That I is the glory of the Lord. It is a reflection of that consciousness. When the consciousness seemingly enters the body, it is called as the Sakshi. When it is outside the body, it is called as Brahman. Whenever we are talking about the pure consciousness, which is in the entire cosmos, which is the eternal, that is all what is called as Aksharam Brahma. But I want to realize that Brahman in this body. I want to realize that. How do I realize it? In this body, I realize it as the witness of all the thoughts, all the emotions. That witness principle is the Sakshi, is the Aham. I told you there are 2 birds. First bird is the Ahamkara bird. The second bird is the Sakshi bird. So we have to discriminate. Atma Kaha. Very, very important definition of Tattvabodha, which comes in the 9th mantra. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatirikta Panchakosha Avastatrayas Sakshi. The definition of Atma, definition of that Brahman is what? In this body, it is not this Sthula Shariram, it is not the Sukshma Shariram, it is not the Karana Shariram. Vyatirikta. Vyatirikta means it is not. Other than. This is one part of the definition. I'm revising Tattvabodha so that you can connect Mundaka Upanishad with Tattvabodha. We are all discussing the same subject of Tattvabodha in Mundaka Upanishad. It is beyond the 5 koshas. 5 koshas, 5 sheaths we have studied. It is the witness of the 3 states of consciousness. All of you must have this as the most important point in your notes. I said I have discussed this before in my previous sessions also. Whenever you come across something which you learn in the Veda class, in the Upanishad class, keep a small notebook and then write down or just write the reference. Go through this at least once in 2 months, 3 months, whatever you have got, just go through that. Why do I have to do this? Because my mind forgets. Our mind is very fleeting. It has very short memory. It keeps on forgetting what I learned 2 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 3 months ago. We forget. But when I revise what happens, it goes deep into my consciousness. So this definition of Atma is a very, very important definition because this is the answer to the question, who am I? Many of you have joined these sessions 5 years ago, 8 years ago, I had started these sessions with the same question, who am I? The answer that time I told you is this answer, Atma, the definition in Tattva. The same is explained in all the Upanishads. So never forget this definition. I am not the three bodies, I am not the five koshas, I am the witness of the three states of consciousness, waking, dream, and sleep. And the fourth part you should remember is, I am of the nature of Satchidananda Swarupaha. What is this Satchidananda? We'll see in Taittiriya Upanishad. Full description, the whole Upanishad of Taittiriya Upanishad, it's called Taittiriya, which we will do after Keno Upanishad. It gives a description of awareness, consciousness as the self. So, in Nididhyasanam, what do I do? This is what I said in the beginning. I claim I am not the Ahamkara, I am not the Mamakara. I don't, this Ahamkara and Mamakara. Ahamkara means what? I am the body, I am the mind. Mamakara means what? I own my car, I have all things related to this Aham, this ego I, is called as Mamakara. What does Upanishad say? Upanishad says, claim I am not Ahamkara. That means what? I am not the ego I in this body because it is a temporary status of the I, which is that witness I. It is a temporary status. All of us, you, me, everybody, it's a status of this waking state. That's all. I only, by the knowledge of Upanishads, what do? I try to disregard this status as the real nature. That's all we do. Nothing else. It's very easy. Upanishadic study is very easy, but you should follow the logic. So Jnani understands I am not the Ahamkara. There is no Punyam and Papam mixture in my Aham. If I take the Sakshi as Aham, then what happens? I never had a birth because the birth belongs to what? Body. Body is what? Panchabhutas. Why Panchabhutas are created? Because of the law of karma. Why the law of karma is enforced? Because it is a cyclic process of creation. Once Srishti goes away, Srishti means a whole creation. Then the next Srishti comes. Again, the next Srishti will come, creation will come. In all this Srishti, what remains constant? Two things. One is the Karana Shariram, and the second is Karana Shariram goes after Srishti. The mind, Buddhi, goes on until the end of this Srishti. You'll keep on taking birth after birth in this creation, in the current creation. These are all knowledge given by the Upanishads. But what never changes is awareness. Sakshi. Can I realize it today and be free? Yes. That is what is this whole study about. So Jnani has claimed I am ever free. Nirvana Shatkam, na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtham, na vedo, na yajnaha, aham bhojanam, naiva bhojyam, na bhokta, chidananda rupaha, shivoham, shivoham. Very beautiful mantra for meditation. Many of us don't know how to meditate, and they say that we get lost in meditation and all that. In my Wednesday sessions, I take these mantras and I try to follow Vedantic meditation, which is very easy, not difficult. All you have to do is just keep remembering one verse in every meditation session. That's all. Take up Nirvana Shatkam, one verse. Bhagavad Gita, one verse. That's what I was taking in the last Wednesday class, in the Panchadesi class. I took. So people who are interested in meditation, you can go through the meditation talks which are there in my collection of the classes. You can get at any time. You just write to me by WhatsApp or something. I will send you all the classes in one shot, in one email. You don't have to store it in so many different places. Take it from me anytime. Just write to me. You will get the whole complete one email. So who says this Shivoham, Shivoham? Is it the Sakshi or is it the Ahamkara? If you say Ahamkara, you're wrong. Because pure Ahamkara can't do anything. If you say Sakshi, it's also wrong. Because pure Sakshi again can't do anything. It has no limbs. It doesn't have a tongue. It doesn't have a mind. It doesn't have a body. It is Asangoham. So what says Shivoham in the mind is the mixture of Ahamkara and Sakshi. Aham Brahmasmi is said by a mixture of Sakshi and Ahamkara. It's a mixture which says. And what does the Upanishad tells you? Upanishad will teach us employ a process called as Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. That is, an intellectually you separate the invariable component and the variable component in that I. There is a process. When we do the Mahavakyas, I will teach that process. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, these are all the Mahavakyas. There is the spiritual science, Brahma Vidya, is a scientific process. Very, very step-by-step teaching. It's a teaching. It is not touching and giving you freedom. No. It is a teaching for the buddhi, for the intellect to mature and transform itself into the reality. Jnani lives the whole life. After Jnanam, he also lives a simple life like you and me. Exactly, but the difference is what? He knows that the life is governed by prarabdha karma. It is a vasana. It is an impression in the buddhi. But I am the awareness principle. And when he has this knowledge, he enjoys the sukham. He derives the benefit of happiness. And that is what is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Atma Triptaha, Atma Ratihi. These are all words which are describing the Sukham of a Jivan Muktaha. And when is this enjoyed? In Nididhyasana, in the third stage of our spiritual journey. There are a lot of descriptions of what this bliss is in the Shastra. Vidyaranya has written a book which is called as Jivan Mukti Yatra. In that, he has given Sapta Bhumika. Anyway, I'm not going to go into details of that. I just want to tell you that there is, see, this bliss which is enjoyed by the Jnanis is described in several texts. And this particular verse says that the Jnani also gets involved. He gets deluded, like a samsari gets deluded by the joy of the world. The Jnani gets deluded by the knowledge which he gets. Shankaracharya in his Bhashyam, he says that the Prasthana study, that means the study of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra, these are the three fundamental texts. Bhagavad Gita study is undergraduate course. Upanishadic study is a graduate course. Brahma Sutra study is a postgraduate course. There is no inferior or superior jiva. All of us are the same pure consciousness. That is what we have to realize through our entire study. Next verse. These are all verses which are all talking about the benefits and what qualifications I get. The 78th mantra. Like an obligatory rite, like when you do a ritual, you follow certain rules and regulations and you chant mantra, you put certain oblations in the fire, it is a ritual. Similarly, one must be attached to the self. See, the students of the Vedic period, they were all ritualists. So the Upanishad tries to give examples of ritualists, and it tries to say that you become a jnani, like you have been a sincere ritualist, you become a sincere jnani. And one who is following the steps as given by the Upanishad, he is the best of the knowers of the truth. So here, how should a student follow the Upanishad is described. Uddhava Gita is is another text, and it describes this stage of Antharmukhi Jnani. Antharmukhi Jnani means a Jnani who has turned his mind inwards. And that Antharmukhi Jnani can live in two ways. He can go from you can go house to house and get diksha, or he can just sit down in one place and wait for the diksha to come. Ajagara, Viksha, Ajagara and Madhukara type of jnanis. Why I'm describing this is it is a part related to this particular verse. How the sukham which can be enjoyed by a jnani, he forgets even a jnani. For example, what this verse is trying to tell us is a jnani, he is so engrossed in his bliss, he even doesn't care about from where the next meal will come. there are gradations not with jnanam, but there are gradations in the ananda which a jnani can get through meditation. Sapta Bhumika, there are 6 grades. In Jivan Mukti Viveka, a text written by Swami Vidyaranya, same author as this text, Anubhuti Prakasha, he gives all these commentaries. So a jnani will not waste his time in worldly transactions, but he will do his role play. You and I, as a grahastha, can get this knowledge, Brahma Vidya, for sure. At the same time, we can play our roles in our life. Remember that. We don't have to become a sannyasi to have Brahma Vidya. Continue playing the roles, but remember, I'm playing a role. I am not the body and mind. That's all. The moment you keep that tambura at the background, you will enjoy the life. The flavor of life will change after the study of Upanishads. The same prana will be reveling in all the beings. What is the difference between the jnani and ajnani? Jnani will never, he will stop the blabberings. Blabbering means what? I am suffering, I'm suffering, I'm suffering, I'm suffering this, I'm suffering that. This pain, that pain, this pain, I am suffering day and day. This blabbering will stop. No more blabbering. Prana is still going on. He is alive. But he is reveling in what? He is reveling in the self. That is what Mundaka Upanishad says in the 4th mantra. 3rd chapter, 1st section, 4th mantra. So with this mantra of the Upanishad, Jnana sadhana. Jnana sadhana means what? The means of knowledge. What is the means of knowledge? Means of knowledge is upasana, meditation, nididhyasanam, removing the wrong thoughts. I am a body-mind complex is a wrong thought. Remove this. This is the jnana sadhana. And what is the other jnana sadhana? Jnana sadhana is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyas. Listen more and more to the Upanishads. When you listen more and more, continuously for 3 years, 4 years, continuously listen. Even if you don't do anything else, every Saturday you come and listen to the class. What will happen? The Upanishad says, your mind will become mature, your mind will become focused, concentrated, and purified. This is the promise of the Upanishads. It's not what I am saying, it is the promise of the Upanishads. So what the Upanishads are telling us through these verses. Can you imagine what quality of life you can enjoy if you have a focused quality of mind? Focused, completely focused on whatever you do. That's what all the Swamijis, you see, when they become a Swamiji, what happens to the mind? You can observe for yourself. Take any Swamiji you know and study his mind. How is his mind? How is he able to focus on different aspects, and then next minute he forgets about whatever he has done. Finished. Similarly, in our life, morning to evening, we are all playing roles. While playing the role, be focused and concentrated, give full attention to what you're doing. You will find that the time is flying. 2022 has gone very fast, is everybody's complaint. Why? Because the mind has been focused. So, jnana sadhanam is very clear. What is jnana phalam? Jnana phalam is I get Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti, which we are going to see now. Okay, 79th verse. There are 100 verses. We are in the 79th verse. Again, Swami Vidyaranya talks about to get this jnanam, what it is, he has said. To get this jnanam, what are the qualifications? How should I work for it? If I have this qualification, jnanam becomes easy. Like what? Speaking the truth. These are all the basic qualifications one once enters into the spiritual study itself. Shama, Dhamma. Control of the senses is Dhamma. Control of the mind is Shama. Continence. Shama, Dapa, Uparama, these are all Titiksha, these are all Samadhanam said in Tattvabodha. Basic qualifications to become an adhikari, a fit student to receive the Brahma Vidya. Again, the Upanishad, Swami Vidyaranya says, become fit student, learn the Brahma Vidya, become free. What is the freedom? Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti is what? Total happiness. I am happy, not conditions, not with condition, but unconditional happiness. Is it possible? Yes. That is what is the description from 79 to 100. A man who gets this knowledge of Brahman, he becomes the best of the knowers of the truth. The truth is only one. There is only one reality in this universe called as awareness, consciousness, Satchit Ananda principle. Know the truth and be free. And the disciplines like speaking the truth, kahikam karma, physically going to temples, vachikam karma, speaking the right things, manasam karma, mentally controlling your thoughts. We have seen this in the Bhagavad Gita. Anudvega karam vakyam. Manas prasada saumyam. These are all the verses we have seen in Bhagavad Gita. In the 13th chapter, there are certain values which are given. Brahmacharya is conducive for Brahma Vidya. Become a fit student. While becoming a fit student itself, will start enjoying a blissful life. That is what happens. If you ask most of the Upanishad students, they may not be very rich. They may not be having so much of associations in life and so on, but they are happy. They are following the spiritual path itself gives them happiness. Adhikari, that is what is called as a fit student. There are three types of students. Fully fit, Uttama Adhikari. And he is fit to get that knowledge immediately. He is like that karpuram, that what you ignite in front of God, karpuram. So it is like that karpura which catches fire immediately. Just light up a matchstick, it'll catch up. Madhyama means he is in the middle. He is neither too qualified, neither underqualified. Then the third category is who is not qualified, Mandha Purusha. All of us can become Brahmavid. We can enjoy the Sukham of Jivan Mukti. After doing that, what do I do? Loka Sangraha, mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. All jnanis, what do they do after gaining this jnanam? They know that they are pure awareness. You also can become. After knowing this, I am the pure consciousness. What can I do? Will I sit quietly in a cave or not just get up from meditation? No. Come and do the role play. Be a good mother, good father, good son, good businessman, good. But know that this is for loka sangraha. Let others be happy. The qualification will decide how much you can gain from the Veda. Each one of us become more fit. See what is deficient in you. Go through, you see, this is where the mananam, reflection comes. When you understand yourself better, you will understand why this happens, because you are the awareness principle. You are just watching your mind. And the more you watch your mind, what will happen? It will get more refined, more polished. And what is the material I use to polish that? The jnanam from the Upanishad. About what? About the awareness principle. So the more you get that qualification of jnanam, the more your mind will become pure and you will start enjoying a blissful life. Can this knowledge be learned by the mind? That is the question which Vidyaranya answers in this, in the 80th verse. By directing our mind to this Sakshi, not by pure mind or the sense organs, or by doing more and more rituals, or by austerities, but only through Brahma Jnanam from the Upanishads. So what Vidyaranya is saying in this is that your austerities are secondary, but the primary sadhanam is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyas. Antarmukhatvam is an ability to turn the mind towards oneself. Kathopanishad has this beautiful mantra, Paranchikani, Yavrit Swayambhu, Tasmat Paran Pashyati, Na Antaratma, Kashyatira Pratyagatma, Ekshat Avrita Chakshur, Amritatvam, Ichan. The one who wants immortality, he wants to know what is this nature of mind which is eternal. Even in this birth itself, I have got a glimpse of this eternality. I know that there is something in me which is changeless. How do I come to know this? By turning the mind inwards and then feeding the mind with the knowledge of Atma. That is the method. See how Mundaka Upanishad is so clear, Kathopanishad is so clear, and it teaches the student a step-by-step process. All of us, when we learn these mantras, what happens to us? We also learn, oh, I have to study the Upanishads. Why do I have to study Upanishad? Because it helps my mind to turn in the direction of Atma. Suppose I don't study the Upanishad like any other ordinary being, what will happen? My mind will be extrovert. It will be always in the world. But can I get this knowledge from the world? No, it's not possible because the sense organs will not allow you. That is called as Bahirmukhatvam. Antarmukhatvam, Bahirmukhatvam. Antarmukhatvam means making the mind go inward. Bahirmukhatvam means leading the life of ahamkara, the ego. Ego is always rushing through the sense organs to the world. Suppose you say, I want to know what is this ego. I don't know what is this ego. Just find out what is that in you which is going through the sense organs to the world and enjoying the world. That is what is called as ego. That is called as bahirmukhat, external, extrovert. What is introvert? What is antarmukhatvam? You close your eyes, your sense organs are shut. Ask the question, who am I? The Upanishad will give you the answer. You are Sakshi. Tat Tvam Asi. You are that awareness. Then what will you say? You will realize that you are the awareness. And when you realize the awareness, what will the automatic answer you will give? Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that pure consciousness. This is how knowledge takes place. Is it difficult? No. Is it easy? Also no. Because you need to study. You need to study the Upanishad to come to this realization. Wherever you find ahamkara, you will find the sakshi. Same place, same locus. The ahamkara is active in Jagrat and Swapna. That I is active. I'm trying to describe the process of how to discriminate the pure Sakshi from the mind. Just study the three states. In the waking and dream, the ahamkara is dominant. In the sleep state, the Sakshi is dominant. Because the mind has gone to sleep, aham Sakshi asmi. Okay? That is how you distinguish between pure mind and the ego. Pure mind is itself called as Sakshi. Introvertedness, extrovertedness. The balance of the notes are just a revision of whatever we have studied. What is the antarmukhatvam? That is what is mentioned. Next week, we are going to start the 81st verse. Okay? See how brilliant are these verses. It teaches me something every time. Something which I don't know. Okay? So I'll stop here and continue next week. And with the 81st verse, there are 20 more verses for this Upanishad to finish. Let's keep the study going. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We'll go to the chat box and see if there are any questions. Okay, there's a question in the chat box, a good question. I'll answer that first. The question is from Manikandan. What he's saying is, after we attain Brahma Vidya, this is important, very important part. After we attain Brahma Vidya, and we die, Ahamkara will also die. Yes, Ahamkara will die for all of us. Whether, Ahamkara will die means what? The mind attached to this body will die. There is a difference between ahamkara of a jnani, ahamkara of a ajnani. Ignorant person's ahamkara and the ahamkara of the knowledgeable, wise man. In the ajnani, we cannot realize Brahman after death. That's correct. So, to realize Brahman, should we need to have upadhi, body and mind? That is the question. Okay. See, one thing you should realize is without a human birth, you cannot discover the knowledge of your nature. That is why in Vivek Chudamani it says, among several births of different bodies, different species in the world, you are fortunate to have got a human body. Don't miss this opportunity to learn about your nature, your real nature. Shankaracharya writes beautifully in Vivek Chudamani. Says, don't miss this opportunity. Learn. Come and learn the Upanishads. So, if you don't get the human body, you cannot get Brahma Vidya. Even, okay, your question is without this body and mind. This body and mind is useful to study the Shastra. The easiest form is study the Shastra and become free. Without the body, you cannot study the Shastra. Without the mind, you cannot study the Shastra. Therefore, body and mind is important. So I hope I have answered the question. Yes, you definitely require the body and mind. But for a jnani who has realized the Atma, he has no more births because the jnani says, I am the eternal Atma. I am always pure consciousness. That there is a huge difference between a jnani and a ajnani. Okay? Have I answered your question, Manikandan? Is it clear?
Sekharji, thank you very much for the answer. I have another question extended to this.
Yeah.
In that case, after we die, means we cannot attain the bliss of Brahman. Am I right? Because we can have the bliss only with the body and mind. So after we die, once we become, there is no body and mind. So how we can remind the state of Brahman?
Okay. When you say after I die, the I stands for body, mind, or awareness.
Okay.
When you ask this question,
body and mind is.
Yeah, you are talking about when I die. I die means when the body dies.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
What is the knowledge we get from the Upanishad? I am not the body.
Yes. Correct.
So the question is, you're asking the question as an ignorant person. That's the first thing you should realize. I am not the body is the teaching. I am asking the question when I die. When I die means it is not, that means I am an ignorant person. So let me answer the question as an ignorant person. Okay. As an ignorant person, what the Upanishad says is, you cannot realize Brahman because ignorance, only when the ignorance is gone, you will be able to say, Aham Brahma Asmi. That ignorance will go when your intellect tells you, I am not the body, I am not the mind. First lesson of Upanishad. Who are you in the sleep state? In the sleep state, do you realize your body and mind? No.
No.
None of us realize I am the body or I am the mind. In the sleep state, are you there or not? Yes, I am still there, but not as the body, not as the mind. In the sleep state, do you experience that you are in happiness? There is some sort of experience of bliss. You can't express it through words.
Yes.
None of us can explain the sleep state through words. Through words, what we can only say is there was nothing. There was experience of nothing. But to say that is possible only when there was something witnessing that nothing. This is how Shankaracharya argues with the opponents who says that there is nothing in sleep and the whole world is nothing. So, to come back to your question, if you realize that I am of the nature of Brahman, Brahman is a Sanskrit word. You can just say in English, I am pure consciousness. Still simpler, I am awareness, which we all understand. Are you aware today? Yes. Was I aware yesterday? Yes. Was I aware in sleep? Yes. Why do you say yes of awareness in sleep? Because I was aware of the ignorance in sleep of the whole universe. What we call as nothingness is nothing but ignorance. That ignorance is illumined by consciousness. If you have reached this level of teaching, you are a fit student for the last teaching. And the last teaching is that consciousness which is aware of that ignorant state in the sleep state is your real nature. After knowing this, are you free or not? Are you bothered about birth, death of the body? Because birth, death of the body is at a lower level. You have reached the highest level of consciousness when you come to Brahma Vidya. You are no longer connected, because what the Upanishad says is the lesson from the Upanishad is asangaha. Asangoham hi purushaha, says Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. All this Upanishads again and again repeatedly it says you're not connected with the body and mind. You're not connected with the body and mind. You are the spirit. You are the awareness. Realize this free nature of your awareness. You will not have any more questions: birth, death, what happens to Brahma Vidya, whether I will continue. All that is gone. In this Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked a question to the Lord. He says, suppose I keep meditating that I am Brahman, but I have not realized my ignorance is still there. I keep asking the same question. What happens to me after death? Beautifully, Krishna says, it's not that after death you will realize Brahman. No. After death, you will take another body. Another body, either in a very religious family or in a very rich family. Religious family will give you the environment to study Veda right at the young age. Rich family will give you the environment to drop all your other worries about earning money and all that. And you will get a chance to learn the Veda again. And you will again start from where you left last time in the previous birth. And then you will become free. Knowledge of Brahman is very important, and it should go directly into your subconscious mind. Okay, very important. Okay. Deeper into your subconscious mind, And then your own intellect will stop asking the questions. The intellect will become subdued like a mustard seed. Today, the seed wants to go out into the world again and again. But later on, through the process of removing the ignorance, you will realize it yourself. My ignorance is gone. I am free. Okay.
Thank you, Sekharji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Many of you who had, I know during the vacation, I had said you study one text. Manikandan and other people, they called me, they said they have studied these things and they've enjoyed it. So there were many people during this vacation time, they were able to go through some of the revision notes of Mundaka Upanishad. Some people studied Aproksha Anubhuti, some people studied something else. So keep the study going and you will see the benefits. Let it happen. Whenever it happens, it happens. But study should keep going. Just devote 1 hour, 2 hours on a Saturday listening to these sessions. Just listen. See what they say in a very higher text like Vichara Sagara is continuous listening of the scriptures will purify the mind. You will definitely, the mind will get purer and purer. You will realize it and you will feel that there is some change in me. You can't say why it is happening, but you will find, yes, I'm growing. I'm able to understand the Upanishads much more better. I'm able to understand Bhagavad Gita better. Whatever verse you are doing, maybe you will say, Keno Upanishad, now I can understand better because I have done Mundaka Upanishad. That 100 verses from Mundaka Upanishad, even though you may not remember everything, but it has done the job of purifying your mind. There are certain impressions which are there in the mind which have been washed away. That is the beauty of listening to these lectures. Okay, any other questions?
Sir, I'm Muralidharan, sir.
Yeah, Muralidharan.
Yes, sir. That Bhagat Tyaga Lakshanam you are talking about, can you please elaborate on that, sir?
Oh, that is a very, very big topic. It's a very big topic. I will try to explain. Okay, I will try to explain to you, but I'll tell you where it is. See, Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana is a method to understand the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. Shankaracharya writes a lot of commentaries on this. In every Upanishad, in Taittiriya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, all the Upanishads, you will find Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana. What is this Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana? I'll explain to you in a very simple way.
Okay.
The way you understand Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana is, you have to tell yourself, I am a mixture of matter, Panchabhutas, and Sakshi, which is not matter. I am a mixture of Atma and Anatma. I will inquire, who am I? The process of inquiry is called as Bhaga Tyaga. Bhaga Tyaga means I will drop one portion and I will retain another portion.
Naturally,
From the I, from the Aham, I will remove the ego part The ego part is going through the three states: waking, dream, sleep. Waking, dream, sleep. It is the I which is the ego. I am not going to retain that. I remove that. Then what do I retain? Lakshana. The Lakshana is what? Lakshana means the indirect meaning of I, which is consciousness, pure awareness. So by doing Bhaga, Tyaga, Lakshana, I try to remove the unwanted portion which is taught to me by Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi, in that there is a commentary of Shankaracharya. There he writes down in what way Tattvamasi should be understood. Same thing, Shankaracharya writes a commentary in Taittiriya Upanishad. Aham Brahma Asmi, Satchidananda Swarupam Aham Asmi. Again, there he says, follow Bhagatyaga Lakshana, remove the three states belonging to the three Sharirams, the three states of the mind, but don't throw the baby with the water. You retain the water, retain the baby. Throw the water away, retain the baby, retain the consciousness. Don't say that there is nothing. I remove the three states of consciousness, afterwards there is nothing. There are a few people of very, very big scholars of Vedanta. They have done that. Shankaracharya refutes them and says, retain the portion which is the pure consciousness. This is what you should do at the Jiva level.
Yes.
Whatever you have done at the Jiva level, you have to do the same at Ishvara level. At the Ishvara level, Paramatma level, what should you do? I'm completing the whole process of Tattvamasi explanation. In the Ishvara level, at the totality level, what should I do? I should not stop only at the Jiva level. Then Tattvamasi is not complete. At the totality level, what I should do is, the whole universe is the body of Ishvara. Remove that body. What remains? Awareness. Ishvara is also a mixture of Sakshi and Ahamkara. Remove the body, the Ahamkara portion, remove the Prapancha, that means the world. Experienced world you remove. What remains is the experiencer. Experiencer is the consciousness, witness, awareness principle. Then what? Then you apply, after you have done Bhagatyaga Lakshana at the Jiva level, Bhagatyaga Lakshana at the Ishvara level, then you come to the Upanishad and learn from the Guru Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi, the Guru teaches you, is after you have learned the Mahavakya and applied the Mahavakya, what Tat stands for is the leftover portion. It is the Lakshana, it is the indirect meaning of the word I. And indirect meaning of Ishvara is that Lakshanam, which is awareness. Tattvamasi means you are that leftover awareness which is retained after Bhagatyaga Lakshana. So Bhagatyaga Lakshana is a very important methodology employed by all the seekers at the highest level. In Wednesday class, after doing the 4th chapter, I am going to do the 5th chapter where we are going to discuss these 4 Mahavakyas and how to analyze this Bhagatyaga Lakshana and all the 4 Mahavakyas in only 8 mantras, 8-9 mantras. Vidyaranya, Swami Vidyaranya, who is the author of Panchadasi and also of this text, Anubhuti Prakasha, he will explain very clearly how do I get the highest knowledge of the Upanishad, and the most important methodology is called as Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. It is almost similar to Neti concept.
No, Neti concept is only telling you drop this, drop this.
Yes.
It doesn't tell you retain this. Bhagatyaga Lakshana tells you drop and retain.
Correct.
Now you get the difference?
Really, sir. Very good. Excellent, sir. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, Shikharji, can I ask? Yes. You said this, mixture of Ahamkara and Sakshi, will say Aham Brahmasmi. Can you elaborate that some more?
Yeah. Okay. You see, one thing you should remember is I am Brahman can be realized by all of us through knowledge in the waking state. That in the sleep state, in that state, I was Brahman, I am Brahman, I will be Brahman. In that state is very clear. It's understood. To a large extent, everybody will understand, that in that state, yes, because the Upanishad also says that. There are 3-4 Upanishads. There are several references of mantras which I can give you, which tells you in the sleep state, you are Brahman. But this is a knowledge given to you in the waking state. So, in the waking state, you cannot be pure Brahman. You are a mixture. So, always remember that I am Brahman is a nature, is Swarupam. Like the Swarupam of fire is being hot. It can burn. At any time, fire has the ability to burn things. Similarly, the nature of air, Vayu Tattvam, is to make everything dry, blows away, can blow away everything, anything. So similarly, the Tattvam in us is consciousness. So you should understand what is Swarupam. Swarupam means nature. Nature is something which is always there. It will never go. But it is only because of the human birth. In the human birth, in the body, there is a mind. In the mind, there is a reflection of consciousness, which we call it as Sakshi. It is there. That Sakshi means that pure Brahman is always there, but I can only realize when I have a body and mind and there is a knowledge given to me by the Veda. Through the process of understanding the Veda, I come to the conclusion I have to employ Bhagatyaga Lakshana. While employing the Bhagatyaga Lakshana, after that is employed, whatever remains, then only I can say Aham Brahmasmi. This is a question which has come in almost every text, higher text. In Vichara Sagara, in many other higher texts. The question of a student is, who realizes Brahman? Who says, I am Brahman? Is it Brahman which is saying it? It cannot be Brahman, because Brahman is What is the nature of Brahman? It is bodiless, mindless. If it has got no body, then can it say? No, it cannot say. It doesn't have speech. It doesn't have anything. Ashariram, amanaha. That is the nature of Brahman. Pure consciousness that it alone is. Brahman alone is. Kaivalyam. Kaivalyam means it alone is. Always it alone is. So, the answer to the question, who realizes Brahman? It is not pure Brahman. It is not, and can the body realize itself? No. A dead body cannot even think because no mind. So, the answer to the question is, it is not the body, it is not the mind which alone can do the job and say, Aham Brahmasmi. Brahman by itself need not say, because it is always Brahman. And body and mind cannot say. So who realizes Aham Brahma Asmi? What is that Aham which realizes I am of the nature of pure consciousness? That Aham is the ego Aham. The ego is a mixture of the consciousness and mind. And it is this mind which will drop itself. It will drop the unwanted portion and it will learn to retain the consciousness portion and merge with it. When it merges, there is no more aham. Ignorance is gone forever, which is called as Mula Avidya Nashaha. It is gone. There is no more ignorance. That individual will realize Aham Brahma Asmi. It is a very profound state. It is a state of pure bliss. There is no words which can describe. And this is what Bhagavad Gita says, that Jnani is Atma Ratihi. He revels in Atma. Why? Because ignorance is gone. That person will know, that individual will know, that ego will know, that it is no longer that ego. All the sufferings will go away. There is no more suffering, zero. He will not be connected with whatever is happening, but at the same time, he will realize what happens to a jnani is the jnani operates from bliss in this world, whereas ajnani often operates for bliss in this world. There is a difference between jnani and ajnani. There is a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this mixture, but in short, that's what it is.
So, Shekharji, can we say that Atman realizes Brahman? I mean, Atman says Aham Brahmasmi?
Yes. You see, in the final stage, it is the Atma. That means when the Jiva, you see, Jiva is what? Jiva is the thinking personality in this body. When the thinking personality realize, first it has to realize I am Atma. It cannot jump to Brahman immediately. There is no direct path from mind to Brahman. It has to go through first Aham Atma Asmi. You have to settle down in Atma first. For a few months, you have to tell yourself, I am Atma. I am Sakshi of my mind. This is the first step. You cannot jump from mind to Brahman, because Brahman is Nirgunaha, Nirvikaraha, Nirguna is it is at the ultimate level. It is the Atma. That is, the mind realizes I am Atma first, and then the knowledge you have to apply. This is where the Mahavakya has to be applied. Shankaracharya writes this beautiful commentaries on this 4 Mahavakyas. Mahavakya cannot be applied at the mind level, and it can never be applied at the physical level. When I'm in the waking state, I'm looking at my body, I cannot say I am the Atma, Brahman and all that. No. In the waking state, you are aware of the body, play your role, finished. If a question comes to you, who am I, while you're awake, go through the teaching of the Upanishad, remember the Upanishad, learn to say I am Atma, then jump to the level of Brahman. Because that connection between Atma and Brahman is given only by Upanishads. Okay?
Mr. Shekhar.
Yes, Shekharji, thank you. Just one last.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this, Chidabhas, reflected consciousness that remains until the last level.
Chidabhasa is a concept for an Ajnani to know about the Nitya Sakshi. It is only an intellectual concept. It is only a, don't take it very literally. There is a reflection, there is a mirror, all that. It is only at the level of intellect to convince the intellect, to drop the intellect. This Chidabhasa reflection, all these theories are given. At the ultimate level, you have to drop this. But your question is what? Does the reflection realize the consciousness? Is that your question?
Yes. So what I want to say that when Atman realizes Aham Brahmasmi, at that time where this reflected consciousness stands. I mean, because then one becomes no mind, right? I mean, yes. So then I feel that maybe yes, that's what my question is.
That's correct. You see, what happens is that which was covering your mind is gone. That covering is gone. That Maya Shakti which was operating in your mind, covering the nature of pure consciousness, is removed. Avaranam is gone. When Avaranam is gone, the mind no longer is a mind, but it is Brahman. As long as the Avaranam was there, the covering was there, it was called as a mind. But the moment that Avaranam is gone, that mind is no longer the mind, it is that pure Brahman. Pure consciousness. Mind is no more mind, it is merged. That mind comes only when, for example, you will understand this very easily, because mind is see, when do you realize your mind? Only when in the waking state. When you see your body and the world, you infer there is something called as mind, and your emotions will start playing, your thinking, thoughts will come, all that. But in the sleep state, what happens to you? That mind has already merged in the heart. Heart means what? It has merged with that reflected consciousness. That reflected consciousness has now merged with pure consciousness. But as pure consciousness, there is no more mind. Okay? I think Preeti, you got the answer.
Yes, Shekharji, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Yeah, Jacqueline, you had something?
Mr. Shekhar. Yes. We learn from all the lessons from you. So what my question is, yes, we are pure consciousness, we are blissful, we are Atma, we are Brahman. And obviously, the example of, let's say, when there is a car park full of car, and whenever, and I needed a car park, I'm just giving example, okay?
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
there's the car just empty up, and then I just zoom in. So as a Brahman, we know that, but as a human, basically, there are so many problems there, and we need help. Based on the pure consciousness, we say somebody will be there to help. That is how a Brahman, a soul, is happening. However, let's say, for example, Mr. Shekhar is helping me, but then say, how can it be? You know, it's not supposed to be. So it's a bit contradicting in that way. You know, people are arranging there to help you, but maybe it's not on their willingness. That's where I'm coming from. So how does this whole things being put together?
Okay, your
You
question
got what
is
I'm saying?
basically about the law of karma. There's a law of action, there is a law of the universe. See, things
Okay.
happen not by itself, but because of some connections between certain actions are put together. Many a times you will find that some things you are experiencing not out of your own will, but because of some other factor in your life, which you can't put you don't know what that factor is. That is what is called as adrishta.
Exactly.
You see, your answer is
Okay.
there is a law of universe which governs the universe. So leave it to the law of universe. You will you find answers to some questions. At the same time, you will find there are no answers to your questions because it is adrishta. Adrishta means what? It is invisible factor. There are certain things which happen in our life due to some factor which I can't that I can't see it. My intellect has no capacity or ability to understand those factors. Leave those factors aside and be happy in life, because you say there are certain things which I can understand, there are certain things my intellect has no ability, no power. You see, suppose a car doesn't have the power to run like a helicopter or a plane, then there is it'll be meaningless for you to think that I can also fly like a plane, but you are in the ground. So similarly, your intellect has only a
the situation is if you impact somebody.
Yes.
The thing is, if you impact somebody with happiness, they will be happy. But if you impact them with something that is not so nice, they say, why me, you know? So
Yeah.
you're saying that this kind of things, it cannot be controlled, and it's invisible, and it's because of law of karma that it happened.
Yes.
I am on this earth because this has happened to me, and I'm on this earth. Somebody has to help me in that way.
That's it. That's correct. You say that there is, see, for example, many people, they don't know who is going to look after me, who's going to, but there will be somebody. See, the law, the universe has been created by some superior power, and that power knows the requirements of all the human beings. There is a power which will come at that appropriate time. Someone will come and help you. It will happen. This is how the universe is. You don't have to be. Yeah, go ahead, Jacqueline.
Yes, just like me listening to you for 3 years. Why I don't know, but often enough I believe that, and then sometimes I came over, it override me again. Why is it like this, you know? So that's why I ask you this kind of question for right now at the beginning of 2023.
That's correct. Anyway, it's okay. Let's go by how each day comes and goes, you know. Let's leave it. Let's not bother how tomorrow will be. Let it come, it'll go. Let it come the day after tomorrow, let it come, let it go. Let me not be attached, and let me not put demands that the day should be like this. You see, that is where we have problems. The moment you start putting conditions that the day should be like this, the day should be like this, my sister should behave like this, my mother should behave like this, then you're asking for trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Appreciate.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay. Anybody else? If not, we'll close today. We'll continue next week with the study of Mundaka Upanishad. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Shekhavji.
Hari
Thank you,
Om.
Shekharji. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
This
Hari Om.
classes are the most wonderful, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakaji.
Thank you.